Masalah mati pucuk. Malaysia mati pucuk.
So senang cerita, sama ada you tak dapat nak jadi keras or
biasanya orang dapat after certain age yang tua sikit lah. Tapi
when we have that booster, so it will go in the wazaka. Longer erection, longer sex and things like that.
Okay.
added on with one more thing which I always talk about, pornography.
Okay, it's not just for erection.
Yes.
You need vasodilation to pump blood into your heart.
Vaping was introduced. Dia orang kata dia
Bahasa Melayu Shahsi, Dr.
lebih selamat daripada aku campur-campur dah ni.
Malaysia mati pucuk. Welcome untuk lagi satu episod Lesong Batu kali ini. Dan kali ini saya bawakan semua doktor-doktor yang memang pro dalam bab-bab kesihatan lelaki. Topik yang kita bincangkan berkenaan dengan masalah mati pucuk di kalangan rakyat Malaysia. Mengapa benda ni agak serius. Dan bersama saya hari ini adalah 3 tetamu. 3 pun doktor yang memang segak dan macho. Dari sebelah kiri saya, Dr. Kevin. Di sebelah kanan penghujung, Dr. Deeban. Dan biasanya geng partner in crime, Dr. Shahsi daripada KS Sky Clinic. Okay,
hello
welcome
guys.
gentlemen.
Hello.
Thank
To
you,
this
thank you.
episode. Episod kali ini ditaja oleh Symphony Nutraceutical, pembekal Simgra. Untuk maklumat tuan-tuan dan puan-puan, Simgra merupakan salah satu ubat preparat tradisional yang membantu untuk kesihatan lelaki, untuk meningkatkan stamina, tenaga dan juga kesihatan umum. Ia boleh didapati di klinik-klinik berhampiran anda. Untuk maklumat lebih lanjut, sila berhubung dengan doktor berdekatan anda. Let's kick the ball rolling. Masalah mati pucuk. I want to start with Dr. Deeban dulu.
Alright, sure.
Apa definisi mati pucuk ni?
Okay, so mati pucuk basically dia ada dua pillar lah, two things. Okay, so sama ada dia kesukaran untuk mendapatkan ketegangan zakar yang mencukupi untuk hubungan intim, untuk tujuan hubungan intim, ataupun kesukaran untuk mengekalkan kekerasan zakar yang mencukupi untuk tujuan perhubungan intim lah. Alright. So senang cerita, sama ada you tak dapat nak jadi keras or you jadi keras tapi you tak dapat nak kekalkan.
Okay.
So both of this will constitute ED lah, or mati pucuk.
Okay, so Shahsi, why is this happening now? The data yang agak menunjukkan 2022, 1.6 juta lelaki yang berumur bawah 30 tahun mengalami some form of mati pucuk. Sama ada it's like 1, 2, 3, some form of mati pucuk yang kita hadapi.
Weird kan? Because biasanya kita cakap pasal mati pucuk, biasanya dikaitkan dengan lelaki-lelaki atau golongan belia atau golongan yang tua. Above 50, 60, that is when naturally, even our textbooks and all those, dia kata pasal mati pucuk normally affects the older age. Because they talk about, nak kata pasal vasculogenik, disebabkan oleh saluran darah yang tak bagus. Disebabkan oleh macam high blood pressure, diabetic dan sebagainya. All these are the reasons. Biasanya orang dapat after certain age yang tua sikit lah. Tapi I think when you say below 30 having this kind of statistic is sad. And memang I think all of us can agree that kita pernah jumpa mereka-mereka yang bawah umur 30 tahun. And I'm wondering, masa, like most of the people that I know have never complained, like in less than 30 or 40, having these problems, issues. But I think, to my pendapat, when I'm looking at this, it's because there is a huge lack in physical activity and physical movement in men. Secondly, a lot of other benda-benda, tabiat-tabiat lain seperti vaping, merokok, minuman keras, excessive amounts yang berlebihan, and also campur dengan kekurangan aktiviti macam main bola lah apa dan all those, added on with one more thing which I always talk about, pornography.
Tu memang top punya isu. Kita sabar dulu. So, we will go there.
It's multi reasonable fact.
But, tapi mungkin nak tanya Dr. Kevin juga.
Yeah,
Kalau kita lihat dari segi isu-isu penyakit kronik ni, tekanan darah tinggi, diabetes and everything, kebiasaannya takkan berlaku to the people yang umur bawah 30 tahun. They think dia masih tengah brewing, masih baru, mungkin pre-diabetic, pre-hypertensive, but immediately benda ni berlaku. Takkanlah golongan yang mungkin dalam kini yang berusia 40-an ataupun 50-an didn't have the same problem. they were also almost eating the same kind of food, but is it the lifestyle or e-sport or what's going on?
I think
You are the youngest here.
okay, but I think I mean as we grow older, we actually eat what we eat at home actually. So basically, like our parents will give us all this sugary food lah, carbohydrates and things like that. So our diabetic phase will actually accumulate as we age actually. So this will also actually cause us to have like
These
some
issues.
very issues, which is having like some erectile dysfunction and stuff like that. Basically, it's all because of our food at home
Food lah.
actually.
So food ni sekarang ni, adakah food ni kita ni selalu outsource ataupun insource? Ada, because kita lihat budak-budak sekarang akses kepada makanan segera, and you boleh dapatkan e-hailing, even if your parents tak ada kat rumah, balik lambat office and everything, just e-hail. And another big thing, right, I just want to throw this in the table is that kalau kita lihat belia hari ni, especially dalam universiti tempatan ataupun college tempatan, lelaki lah, mereka tak boleh masak tau. They cannot cook dalam universiti. So mungkin apa Kevin katakan, pada mulanya you are eating at home, makan kat rumah. Lepas tu bila pergi college atau universiti,
You have to rely on outside food.
correct. And then budget. Mungkin RM10. What do you get? Nasi goreng. satu telur dada or something, or even if you can go 14-15 ringgit, then you can get fast food already. And it's easily accessible by an e-hailing device. And so benda ni brew and brew.
I think the problem is because if you're talking about healthy food, of course kalau masak dekat rumah kita boleh jamin lah the nutritional value dan sebagainya. But if you want to get the same type of food through e-hailing, you have to take into account it's cheaper to produce less nutritious food. So if you want really very nutritious food, it's going to cost you a lot more. So that by itself is already a negative side lah.
Correct.
Okay, but coming back to the topic, ED amongst males less than 30 years old, right? So the biggest thing we have to understand is that when we talk about ED or mati pucuk, as much as there is a physical cause, there is also a substantial psychological cause. One is unrealistic expectation. Okay, so we base our experiences or what we forecast should be based on porn, which is unrealistic. Okay, you can't achieve that. All right, that is one thing lah. Then because of that, over time, again and again, you get exposed to the same thing. What happens is that now that becomes a set norm that you are trying to achieve, but you are physically unable to. You cannot achieve that kind of an outcome. Okay, so that gives you a negative connotation. So every time you try to attempt, you're already having this setback in your head. You're already having this thought, I'm not going to, or this is not going to happen to me. That in a negative connotation is also going to bring about ED lah, because you're no more interested in the act.
Betul. It's almost macam tengok satu superhero punya movie lah. Katakan tengok Marvel ke apa. Okay.
And then you cuba terjun daripada bangunan lah.
Betul. Impossible, benda tu akan berlaku. Minda kita, our mind is trained to anticipate that is the expected position. So apa yang berlaku, you akan always rasa macam aku akan gagal. Aku akan gagal dalam performance. And then benda ni dah jadi dah screw dah dalam deep into the head. Other things you mentioned tadi, vaping, rokok and everything, big problem. Why?
If you understand the content, initially when vaping was introduced, dia orang kata dia
Bahasa Melayu Shahsi, Dr. Sultan.
lebih selamat daripada aku campur-campur dah ni. Lebih selamat daripada merokok rokok biasa. Okay? And then sekarang we came to a point where I was like, wait a minute. You calculated
How many puffs
dalam satu vape pod dan berapa banyak peratusan nikotin dalam satu vape pod berbanding dengan satu batang rokok. Did you?
Banyak.
So beza dia
A lot. That means you
Nikotin?
actually smoke lagi banyak kandungan nikotin
Kandungan
masa
nikotin,
you gunakan vape daripada you merokok. Because dalam situation menggunakan vape tu, you ambil pot tu, you akan terus constantly hisap.
Yes.
Constantly
Rokok ni
sucking.
mungkin, I nak rokok punya break. I
Yes.
go out, there's a lonjakan nikotin in the blood vessel, then there's a dip.
Very deep.
This is like perpetually constant
Constantly
keeping
pumping.
gantung dekat leher lah, dalam poket lah, tak ada bau, so bila-bila masa you nak on demand.
dalam parlimen pun boleh.
Betul. Paling
But
boleh.
must look like pen.
Ni kau tahu kau.
So even it's so dangerous nowadays that even kanak-kanak pun boleh dapat dari macam bentuk macam jam tangan, tarik, lepas tu letak balik.
Wow.
I saw that on TikTok. I was like, wait, it is to conceal from your parents supaya parents you tak tangkap you vaping. And tak ada bau. So siapa boleh tangkap? Kalau dulu orang kena tangkap rokok, ada bau rokok. Sekarang vape tak ada bau. Mungkin bau macam perfume ke apa benda. So that is one major thing. And you know that beza antara rokok dengan vape is the only thing is there is no tar burning and what do you call this? Otherwise nicotine is even higher. The only thing is that the burning byproduct daripada pembakaran ni dan asap tu lain. Vaping is different. It's I think it's vegetable
still screening some form of addiction.
Yeah, but
vegetable
vegetable
glycerin,
oil lah.
vegetable glycerin, but also vegetable glycerin causes other effects that are unknown kepada kita sekarang.
Yeah.
Kita belum kaji lagi benda tu. Okay?
So
All this, you know, nicotine is something that makes your blood vessels
Constrict.
mesti. And then apa berlaku? Masalah jantung berlaku.
Masalah jantung berlaku.
And what happens after masalah jantung?
Blood flow issues.
So would all of us agree, sekiranya lelaki di luar sana yang even kalau muda ke, yang dah mula ada masalah mati pucuk, it's already the first indikasi
That their
your
lifestyle is bad.
masalah jantung already starting to happen.
impending.
lah.
Even that is according to the New York Heart Association, that the first sign kalau you dah ada mati pucuk, artinya you are next the most important artery atau salur darah yang paling penting dalam badan kita, yang paling kecil, iaitu arteri coronary. So the first one get affected is your penile artery. Lepas tu arteri coronary.
The data tahun lepas punya kematian 2022 menunjukkan 1 daripada 5 rakyat Malaysia mati because of masalah sakit jantung. It's high. So almost 20%, 20% pada rakyat daripada data statistik Malaysia mati sebab masalah sakit jantung. So kalau 20% is dying there, definitely the mati pucuk issue memang dah mati pun.
Yes.
And one thing about saluran coronary and everything is nitrous oxide. Kevin, why nitrous oxide sangat penting?
Yeah, because you know when our blood is pumping, in our body and everything for our daily life and things like that, you know, we need the boosters like, you know, the nitric oxide. So, you know, when we have that booster, so it will go in the wazaka. So that we can have, you know, longer erection, longer sex and things like that.
Okay.
So we need that boosters as well. And also don't forget, you know, how we get natural NO2 is from exercises.
Senaman. So Deeban, exercise. Budak-budak sekarang semua dah jadi couch potato. Duduk couch potato, french fries on top of that.
Netflix.
Netflix. So there's a
Netflix and chill
different kind of Netflix and chill already.
So the nitrous oxide, biasanya kalau kita bersenam ni, the pump is very
Very good.
very good. Feeling dia very puas.
Yeah.
Tetapi bila kebanyakan rakyat ni kerja office job, desk job, the physical job has been reduced and tak ada juga senaman. So nitrous oxide ni semakin lama
Deplete.
makin turun.
Yeah.
And
Okay, so
Senaman.
basically for erection ni, you definitely the pathway is nitrous oxide lah. So just breakdown, basically you get stimulation, sama ada visual or sentuhan ke apa, touch. So your parasympathetic system will secrete nitrous oxide. Nitrous oxide activates your CGMP. CGMP causes vasodilation lah. So when
bila
there is
vasodilation
vasodilation
happens,
meaning blood vessel inside the penis, your artery or your deep penile artery opens up lah. That means from 1 inch, for example, it becomes 5 inches in width, right, diameter. So allows for more blood lah. Now we forget to think that when you talk about vasodilation, okay, it's not just for erection.
Yes.
You need vasodilation to pump blood into your heart. You need
Correct.
vasodilation to
Betul.
pump blood to your brain. Anywhere, wherever blood is required lah. So this is why, again, after exercise per se, you sweat. because there is vasodilation, there is activity of your exocrine glands. When you exercise, you feel warmer because there is more blood flow in your body. Now, the blood flow is important, one, to bring oxygen to the muscles, bring oxygen to the brain, and also to take out all your waste products, your lactic acid that was produced in exercise, to wash that away. Now, when we become sedentary, alright, no exercise,
Maksudnya
nothing.
tak bersenam
Langsung tak bersenam, tak ada pergerakan. The only exercise you do is between here and the fridge and back. Okay, there's no point lah. Then you're not going to get anything. You're going to have persistently. You're going to have vasoconstricted vessels, and that by itself reduces all blood flow, keeps it only to the the essential organs. So there's basically the gut, the brain, and that's about it, and the heart lah. Nothing else goes.
Actually more to the gut.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then benda ni membawakan satu fenomena juga yang saya selalu katakan. You see, aktiviti intim ataupun seksual ni, it's like almost like a sport.
Yeah,
You
let's not
need that
forget
physical.
that is an exercise by itself.
Ya, dia macam senaman juga. So
Cardio
kalau you nak spar dengan team yang main Champions League, you daripada Division 3, boring lah.
Exactly.
Shahsi akan selalu katakan satu terminologi, starfish.
Yeah. So to add on to apa yang they said, basically nitric oxide ni bukan untuk khas untuk ereksi sahaja. Ia menunjukkan kebaikan atau kekenyalan salur darah kita, dan juga when your blood flow is better, your artery, your veins are in more functional state, blood flow to the organ and back to the heart and all the other places is good. Also the other thing, sekarang saya bagi tahu Fisin, sekarang like we said earlier, when it goes to the
Jantung.
to the jantung, and now you are in a sedentary state lah. Katakan you tak pernah senam, you tak pernah buat apa-apa. Up to your 20s, kalau you tak rokok, you are okay, you tak buat apa benda, it's still going to be okay. But at some point in your 30s, you will start feeling, why is this happening? Because you are someone, like after the age of 25, 28, you know that badan kita has this own capability untuk repair dia sendiri tau. We have our own growth factors, we have our own stem cells which produce these growth factors, and by age benda ni akan turun. And kalau katakan kita tak bagi dia any booster, tak jaga makan, bantai everything, sekarang everything is processed food dan sebagainya, of course that thing is going to drop further. And saya biasa bagi tahu, kalau how you look, wajah anda nampak lebih tua daripada umur anda, that is already one sign. And like hair whitening dan sebagainya, gugur rambut dan sebagainya, it shows microvascular problem. So that is already one of the sign that bigger vessel problem akan datang.
Tu. And then kenapa kita bincang pasal nitrous oxide ni, satu perkara yang mungkin jarang kita dengar, tetapi apa yang selalu akan dikatakan is, kalau you jumpa doktor, okeylah ambil ubat sildenafil, tadalafil ataupun ubat kuat yang berdaftar. So, tetapi ramai di luar sana tak tahu that fungsi ubat kuat yang lulus KKM pun ataupun lulus digunakan secara global,
lulus FDA lah.
Betul. Jadi fungsi dia ialah untuk melambatkan pemecahan nitrous oxide tu. So kalau tak cukup nitrous oxide dalam badan, kau ambil berapa ratus gram pun,
mandi pun tak boleh.
Kau minum botol-botol pun tak jadi.
Betul. It's not going to fix the problem.
Yeah.
And then dalam our community, bila kita lihat pada masalah ni, akan datanglah satu beverage ajaib. Kopi jantan.
Kopi jantan.
Kopi jantan. Okay. So kopi jantan ni sebenarnya dia ada dua isu. Satu, bila kita tengok selalu kenyataan-kenyataan yang akan keluar daripada kementerian akan selalu katakan, produk-produk ni dia rampas. Dan bila rampas, kita dapat tahu, mereka buat test, ada banyak campuran ubat-ubatan macam mengandungi benda-benda macam sildenafil dan tadalafil, ubat-ubat drug yang dicampurkan dalam dos-dos yang melampau. Memang kalau doktor kami bagi 20 gram, dalam tu letak 100 gram. Memanglah pacak sampai minggu depan. tetapi also another one more thing, the placebo effect.
Yeah.
Bila letak je kopi jantan tu, dia dengan harapan dia muda, fit, main bola and everything, tak ada masalah and everything, fitness, jaga makan everything. Tetapi
They
the
need that,
mental
state.
issue happens. Why does that happen, Deeban?
Okay. So bila kita tengok ED, okay, mati pucuk, dari segi rawatan dia, we have to understand that from studies lah, dari kajian, 30% of a sugar pill effect, meaning 30% of a placebo effect. Maksudnya mungkin dia ada masalah, okay, tapi bila diberi satu rawatan yang bukannya rawatan khusus untuk mati pucuk, okay, tapi dengan harapan, ditawarkan harapan bahawa, okay, contoh, ambil ni, okay, ni tak ada apa-apa, ni dalam ni gula-gula je lah, okay, ambil ni, you akan dapat erection yang paling bagus dalam hidup you, okay, dia ambil, out of 100 men, 30 will report that they have very good erection. That is how much the mind craves for it, okay, so that is what we call the placebo effect. All this kopi jantan and all the other things that were promised outside, things that were done without research, okay, they tread on that. Okay, so basically that becomes the selling point
lah. One is the terma itself.
Yes.
Another one more thing is sometimes could be ingredient.
Yeah.
Macam Powerpuff Girls lah.
And then some of this product kan, bukannya ada sildenafil, kadang-kadang tak ada.
Yeah.
Tapi dia mungkin ada, macam Dr. Deeban cakap, kopi, lepas tu ada tongkat ali. Dan terus mewujudkan satu persepsi di mana makan tongkat ali boleh dapat mengeraskan.
So that's the other thing. That's the other thing out there. You take tongkat ali, you get a good erection.
Dia macam ni. Si tongkat ali memang ada kajian-kajian yang tunjukkan dia boleh membantu meningkatkan testosteron. I think that's our next thing to discuss. Okay, tetapi bila kita lihat, takkanlah satu herba tu kalau you makan, katakan macam ni lah, you makan ayam terus bicep you naik. Tak boleh.
Satu hari makan brokoli dengan chicken breast terus
because ingredient macam herba and everything memang ada fungsi what we call as adaptogenic effect.
Yes.
Dia boleh mempengaruhi reseptor-reseptor untuk menggalakkan pembentukan testosteron dalam badan. That is, we all agree with this. So
and compounding effect, it take time.
So kepada makcik-makcik, abang-abang, kakak-kakak yang kata ambil je hari ni petang ni, malam ni
mari beli game.
Terpacak sampai Menara Baru PNB. Sorry, itu semua tak betul.
And it's not because of what do you call this, tongkat ali. Memang
dia memang boleh membantu, tapi bukan direct,
bukan dalam satu hari. Dia compounding effect, macam Dr. Roland cakap tu, compounding effect. So over certain period of time, ambil masa untuk benda tu melancarkan dan membetulkan cara testosteron dalam badan berfungsi.
So, in average, like macam kalau kita bincang tongkat ali naikkan testosteron pun, at least you need a dose of 200 to 400 milligram, and you need 3 to 4 months to see any perceivable difference. Betul. So it's not like makan today, malam terus okay lah, tak ada.
Sama dengan makan sebenarnya.
Betul. And then this is another joke lah. Kalau betul lah tongkat ali ataupun herba-herba ni memang boleh memberikan kesan serta merta, dan I bet you lah, semua kedai-kedai beverage yang top yang di luar sana tu, sama ada warna merah lah, warna hijau lah, apa-apa warna pun, semua lelaki akan beratur kat sana hari-hari for their kopi jantan shot. RM30 ke RM50 ke, mereka akan bayar untuk shot tu. So I'm pretty sure if something like this betul-betul wujud, the industry which is so big, macam coffee industry which is so huge in the world, will jump into this. We'll definitely jump into this. Are we giving out advice enough for them?
New business model.
Okay. Okay. Erection with testosterone. How much of impact is testosterone giving to erection, or very little?
Actually, a very good question. I was just discussing with one of my patient tadi sebelum datang. Patient ni dia punya testosterone tinggi, tapi tak ada libido. Drop. Everything low. And the second patient yang datang, testosterone dia lagi rendah, tapi libido dia tinggi.
Okay.
Right? So that's why I was telling him, the correlation atau nak kaitkan testosteron dengan libido ni, ada dia punya fungsi. Tetapi that is not purely based on testosterone
Means you
sahaja.
cannot put the chips down there straight.
Yep.
Yes.
What do you say?
it's
Big
not-
topic testosterone. I want to hear from everybody.
I think it's not purely based on testosterone only lah. There's also other bigger factors.
Multifactorial, yeah.
Yeah, it's actually multifactorial thing. So like it doesn't mean that kalau your testosterone is super duper high that you can get erection or you cannot get erection. No, it doesn't correlate actually. Maybe 1 or 2% lah. But for me, I feel that blood flow is more to erection purposes. Okay, testosterone is another part of
There's so many functions.
So many functions. Yeah, correct.
I would think that the whole notion that low testosterone equals to low libido equals to erectile dysfunction actually came about when they saw patients who had patients who had erectile dysfunction. The tissues, when biopsied, had higher receptor for androgens. Okay, that's how they say lah. That means when you have erectile dysfunction, you become more sensitive towards reception of androgen. Androgen is like testosterone and estrogen and all that. But like what Dr. Shahsi said, dia tak penting. Testosteron tak semestinya kepengurangan testosteron tak semestinya dikaitkan dengan masalah
libido.
mati pucuk.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So bila kekurangan libido ataupun kekurangan keinginan nak bersama, boleh dikaitkan dengan estrogen. Testosterone can be normal, but if your estrogen is very low, as a man you still have estrogen. If your estrogen is very low, despite having normal testosterone, you're still going to have reduced libido.
Correct.
Or if your prolactin is very high, your testosterone is normal, you're still going to have reduced libido.
Correct.
Or your testosterone is low, but
Estrogen is high.
no, your testosterone is low, but your free testosterone usage is more than 2%. That means you have very low testosterone, but almost all of it is being utilized by the body.
Betul.
Then you per se you don't have any functional deficiency.
Then so this one is very technical. I mean memang kami faham. Dikatakan kita lihat dari segi the receptor, maksudnya ada banyak penyerap of the hormone. Sometimes when someone datang ke klinik, ada kadang-kadang ada scenario that we see the testosterone very low. Kan kita cuba buat correction. Tetapi bila dia balik dalam sebulan ke 2 bulan, he will tell you that I'm feeling damn good lah. Tetapi bila kita buat blood test, testosterone dia lagi rendah. So
tak berubah.
tak berubah. And this is because of the receptors yang Dr. Dave kata tadi, and also the pick-up usage, the utilization. Because tiba-tiba dia pergi buat senaman, gym training thing. So anggapan testosterone ni merupakan salah satu benda yang sangat very interesting that I read one big article that found why testosterone was developed is to actually improve erythropoietin cells first place in the formation of creation itself. Masa the evolution of like cortisol is the first steroid atau the first hormone developed, then this thing happen is to develop erythropoietin cell. Erythropoietin cells then increase more more hemoglobin. And what happens in muscle bulking is myoglobin dependent. So that all that bulking and everything, and kalau lelaki yang semua ada jambang, semua sini ada jambang, it's a definition of testosterone and everything, because that is the secondary characteristics dalam trait, because it's sexual selection, because female somehow is still looking for this characteristic, because the biological selection macam tu.
These are the characteristics that are attractive atau menawan kepada the opposite gender. Like how we have attraction towards women because of certain traits and all those. So the women are attracted because of different traits, and these are the external traits yang boleh nampak. Okay, and then of course your personality also, like that is the next context which comes into.
And testosterone does that also.
That's also. Yeah.
Kalau testosterone you rendah, you akan always jadi macam senyap.
You become introverted.
Tapi kalau yang testosterone dia tinggi, nampaklah ada boss dia. Pantai macam tu.
The alpha male.
Alpha male kind of situation where dia bukan dianggap sebagai hormon keganasan. This is totally
persepsi yang salah.
Persepsi yang dibawakan oleh media is like testosterone is going to bagi aggression.
Media barat. I'll say that.
So testosterone is going to give aggression. Lepas tu testosterone akan bagi you jadi macam be very aggressive with people. You become very angry. Yes, of course, kalau excessive, that thing can happen. Tapi the right amount of testosterone will actually bawakan banyak confidence kepada lelaki.
Yes.
Banyak.
Yes. So many effect bagus testosterone. And kalau nak katakan kebanyakan pesakit yang datang, persepsi dia terhadap testosteron satu je, untuk ereksi. Salah. And
Yeah, that's wrong.
testosteron sebenarnya daripada urat saraf kita, cara pemikiran kita, otak kita. Macam Dr. Deeban katakan pasal prolaktin dan sebagainya. And Dr. Roland was talking about cortisol. And kita punya testosteron dihasilkan di testis. Tapi ada satu small component of testosteron yang dihasilkan daripada kita punya kelenjar adrenal. Okay, and dia punya fungsi kelenjar adrenal punya testosteron ni lain sikit. Dan benda ni actually affect your free testosterone level juga. So this is very important. Kalau katakan lelaki sekarang, kerja you tak habis, after work you are constantly, sekarang ada phone, bila-bila masa your boss boleh call you, bila-bila masa your staff can tell you anything. Kalau cikgu sekolah, mak bapak message you selalu. So this there's no escape from this cortisol punya efek. Alamak, stress lah. Masa dulu, the same hormone yang dihasilkan masa kita orang gua atau caveman, hunter-gatherer time, semasa kita kena lari daripada singa ke apa ke dan sebagainya, stress kita seketika tu je. Tapi sekarang, the cortisol is the same, tak ubah. Struktur dia sama je. Tapi singa ni selalu ada sekeliling kita sekarang. So what happens is, when there's high cortisol, katakan you tengah lari daripada satu binatang buas dan sebagainya, you won't have the mood or libido to have, nafsu and all those. Akan kurang. So, this in the long run akan menyebabkan kita also have low testosterone level when the cortisol level is constantly high. Atau dia akan jadi crash, di mana jadi adrenal insufficiency, di mana dia dah shut down, and also this means you are not going to be able to produce enough functional testosterone. The testosterone might be in a normal level or good rate, but it won't function properly. So semua benda ni, effect.
Wow, it's deep. I'm going to jump into something yang daripada Dr. Shahsi kata yang singa tu, I kena pergi kepada satu topik yang memang berkait takut bini in this situation.
Oh yeah.
Okay, what's happening?
Alright, so we talk about takut bini, okay lah.
Takut pasangan lah.
Takut pasangan lah. Okay,
especially dalam this situation, bila first time kahwin, perkahwinan pertama, mereka tak pernah ada hubungan intim, and then they develop this expectation. Aku kena buat macam ni, and then this is one. One more thing is issue dari segi perspektif, the norm, the culture. Takut.
Okay, so
I will ask you so.
Of course. So basically, bila kita cakap tentang masalah takut bini, bukan nak cakap takut bini lah. Okay, like what Dr. Roland said, kali pertama mengadakan hubungan intim, okay, nervous, gelisah, gemuruh, tak tahu apa nak expect. Okay, ini semua boleh menyebabkan masalah mati pucuk. Okay, bukan nak cakap dia ada sebenarnya masalah mati pucuk yang berasaskan kesihatan ataupun dari segi salur darah ke apa, tak ada. Ini adalah lebih kepada psychological. Okay, psychological disebabkan stres. Alright, so sama macam Dr. Shahsi cakap, dia sama macam dia kena kejar singa lah. Badan dia rasa macam dia kena kejar singa.
First night singa datang.
Mana ada nafsu masa tu kan.
Nak lari je.
So tapi lama kelamaan, when they get used to it, they get more comfortable with their partner, then of course kalau tak ada masalah kesihatan masa tu, then of course dia tak akan ada masalah capai erection yang normal lah. Okay, provided everything else is normal. Okay, itu satu. Yang kedua was again, refresh my memory, it was the second situation.
Second is it our culture ataupun our culture because of religion, Asian punya values.
Okay, so Asian values, I think cultural norms per se not much of impact lah, but yang memberi impact ialah kita reality yang kita tengok. Contoh, saya nak action macam yang saya tengok dekat pornografi. That thing is impossible. Alright, I nak bertahan 2 jam. Mana boleh?
Itu semua sembang warung je. Sembang warung.
Mana boleh? Tak ada, tak akan jadi. Tak akan jadi. Yang 2 jam dekat pornografi pun dia 10 minit, lepas tu dia rehat.
Dia macam buat movie lah. Tengok 1 jam tapi buat 1 tahun.
Exactly. You want to do that kan, but your partner will be angry lah.
Okay, kita cut dulu. Okay, lepas tu.
Kevin, what do you see? Sama juga this context. Dia rasa dalam klinik semasa melihat patient lelaki yang akan datang, ada tak you rasa this issue is big? Maybe we're seeing like especially banyak lelaki-lelaki muda yang datang and say like, I'm scared lah nak kahwin and I don't know what will happen, and I rasa this is a issue.
I think mostly I see patients dia lebih kepada okay, I dah dapat anak 2, 3 dan sebagainya. So let's come to that, like, you know, that 30 years old, 40 years old, you know, when they were performing very well, they were doing it very well and everything. You know, then after that, at one point, the wife demands to other, you know, fantasies and things like that. Okay, I want 30 minutes lah, I want 45 minutes lah. So the guy was
Maksudnya
like,
siapa yang tengah tengok porn ni?
Mereka lah.
I think it's
Nothing
regardless
wrong,
of gender
nothing
lah.
wrong.
Nothing wrong.
Them
Men,
watching,
women,
yeah.
they watch, but the expectation is,
Yeah.
you know,
The problem comes where you are unable to differentiate.
Then after that, you know, they will come to me and say, how the doctor, you want to, how to prolong this, what's the technique and stuff like, you know, the stress level comes like, accumulate everything. Then after that, at one point, you know, some men, they are very, very ego. You know, they be like, never mind lah, it's okay lah, whatever lah, blah, 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 everything, you know. Then when the time when the wife come and bamboo the one, and say, okay, if you don't do this, divorce.
Dia kena lesung lah macam tu.
Divorce.
Yeah,
I don't want.
That has happened also.
Yeah.
So you're right. So I'm seeing this daripada satu perspektif the psychology of the endocrine system.
But if I can add on to what Kevin said, also an issue where, for example, the husband or the wife, either one of them, loses interest in their partner. Okay, everything is okay. I mean, they're happy with their sexual life and all that initially. But then, let's say, for example, husband starts putting on weight, becomes less attractive, less desirable, or counterpart wife happens with a wife, or even the most minuscule. I've had a patient, the most minuscule issue. The wife said something to the husband during intimacy. Okay. Now, every time he attempts intimacy after that, he is reminded of whatever that he said.
That's trauma.
That is trauma. So that can also manifest as erectile dysfunction because you are not in it wholeheartedly.
Performance anxiety.
Yeah, that you have performance anxiety.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's another psychological issue lah that can bring about erectile dysfunction.
So and this thing also leads to issues of sexual discussion is very taboo. Satu. Another one more thing. Then comes another thing, that the religious perspective. This thing is very big because faktor agama, faktor peradaban ataupun perkauman in Malaysia, it will flip it because why? In this position, there's two pretexts. One, there's this perspective of I can file or she can file for separation or vice versa yang boleh berlaku macam tu. So they feel like, if this happens, it will break down the relationship. Like the guy is like traumatized because this is like a wild card. I can go to the mahkamah and get this thing and they will accept it. It's a big thing. One more issue also is what you mentioned is that the interest. And then because of poor maintenance of this intimacy punya interest, akan wujudnya the third party datang. And bila wujud this third party datang ni, they feel like, this is a new relationship. I tak ada masalah outside. Tetapi balik dekat rumah, they cannot perform. Why that happens is because there is this thing in our culture, because religion and culture buat these people to go into this guilt tripping. That means bila dia balik rumah, dia tahu this sexual activity di luar rumah, and dia balik ke rumah, they feel like, macam mana aku nak face isteri aku bila aku buat benda ni macam ni? Because they know is at that point it's still not legalized. Sama dia tak ada perkahwinan tu tak sah ataupun ada skandal macam tu. And then they go in. And some of the times patient yang even saya tengok, and I will ask them the hard question. Are you having this issue or not? And then some of them boleh break down and kata, I said, this is the problem. It's not because you have an issue. Because outside, no problem. At home, problem. Because your physicality is changing because the narrative in the brain, you rasa macam you telah buat dosa, you telah buat this. So this indoctrination also caused this to happen. So very important for people to actually respect the relationship.
Correct. I think kalau biasa kita katakan patient, I think all of you all have seen that first of all kita kena bawa intimacy tu balik. Don't talk about penetration yet. I think first is to bring back the intimacy and basic. We have seen people like, I dah kahwin berapa tahun tak ada anak, and you know, like they are like, I was like, how intimate are you in your relationship? Berapa macam intimacy dalam you punya married life, hubungan intim, like just say, like, you know, like what you do for your partner besides touching, all these kind of things. What is the love language that you talk about, right? So that's on the psychological scale. And if you feel that is lacking, like what Dr. Dave here said, Go back to the basics for everything, anything at all. Go back to the basics. Sit down and talk. And don't be, like for women, it's very hard for the man to come and tell you something which is very vulnerable, yang boleh menyebabkan dia rasa macam merendahkan diri. Tapi kalau dia boleh jadi that invulnerable, respect that. Because it's not easy for a man to come and tell that. For women, for you to tell your issues and your problems, that's why they always say, kenapa lelaki tak macam tu? Sebab we are built different, in a different way. And when they trust someone and they come and tell you this kind of things, when you do that, that could also be a very, very good reset for the man to like have a huge respect towards you, and also like that love and all those will exponentially akan tinggi. And that itself, you are building the trust. Basic. Lepas tu you go to your basic intimacy and all those, and penetration is probably a very short thing only at the end. Nothing much.
Yeah, 5
the other
minutes,
things,
settle.
Basically, you just restart your relationship. You just have to learn to fall back in love. Like if that's how you met your partner, you will redo it and then let everything else take its own course. Like eventually 99% of the time it works lah. Unless.
But you see, the most of the time this kind of issue berlaku bila
ego.
One is ego. Another one more thing is like, kalau tanya when is that, they come in dengan expectation untuk nak dapat zuriat and everything. Tapi bila tanya berapa kerap ada hubungan intim, it's like mungkin setahun 2 kali. So that's one thing. So it's like sometimes I can katakan sometimes you need to go back to your dating time.
Yeah.
Where how that emotional spark is that kalau nak text pun fikir 2-3 kali macam nak edit perkataan semua betul ke tak. But today it's like no, I will not answer the call.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that surprise element tak ada and everything. So every single intimacy tu, it becomes like absolutely dry.
Correct.
And you must understand like male ni, they like everything structured, but female psychologically like surprise elements.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's something that kita tahu.
Spontaneous. And also one more thing that they always look for in men is decisiveness. When you make a decision, that means you are going to do this. Okay, do that. Even spontaneity, secara spontan ni pun dia ada yang di mana you buat decision tu dengan okay, I nak buat ni.
That's why erection is spontaneous.
So it's like that. So and you have to be that. To be that, there's a lot of factors. That is what we are talking about today. It's not only the testosterone which is just in charge untuk benda tu.
Betul. We talk a lot of the main core segment in terms of daripada hormon, dari segi pengaliran darah, dari segi kesihatan mental, pemakanan, gaya hidup, rokok and everything. A lot we cover. Okay. How do we all help the people outside them? Macam kita nak bantu mereka ni. Apa benda perkara pokok? Maybe everyone just give one viewpoint. We got a lot.
Okay.
Deeban first.
Okay, so very simple lah. If you don't have ED to begin with, and or you feel like you sihat, then kekal sihat. Senang lah kekal sihat. So tapi yang paling susah pun macam mana nak kekal sihat. Okay, so of course satu yang kita tak boleh nak elakkan ialah menjadi umur lah. Faktor umur kita tak boleh nak elak. Every year we will age, right? Tapi the 4 main pillar, which is basically your exercise, your sleep, your stress, and your lifestyle. All these 4 you have to maintain lah. So sleep well, exercise adequately, don't over-exercise, don't under-exercise. Okay. And of course, your dietary modification, of course, kalau you merokok, berhenti merokok. Okay. Kalau you suka minum minuman keras, kalau boleh berhenti, kalau tak kurangkan. Okay. Other than that, your cholesterol, whatever your blood, anything that is abnormal, fix it. So be it your cholesterol, be it your blood pressure, do what is necessary.
Prevention is better than cure.
Sorry?
Prevention is better than cure.
Prevention is better than cure.
Kevin, anything you want to add?
Okay, so I would like to add on for Dr. Deeban as well. I mean, like, if let's say you're having all these issues lah, your kencing manis ke, darah tinggi or whatever, try to fix it ASAP.
Yeah.
Because don't wait for, when your wife said, dah teruk dah, okay, tomorrow I'm going to divorce you. Then you're going to come and crying to us. That's what we don't want. Okay, that's very, very important actually. So guys out there, please, okay, try to fix yourself ASAP. Okay.
Shahsi?
And adding to Deeban and Kevin, I would say that one very important thing I missed out. Don't forget to have fun. Because for a man, your tribe, your brotherhood, what you do, walaupun you kata you lepak, I mean, the thing that you can do with your tribe dengan kawan-kawan anda tu, bukan lepak kat mama je atau lepak dekat kedai, warung and all these kind of things. Go back to the things. 5 o'clock kalau dulu kita orang ni, kaki dah macam, nak kena tendang bola ni. There's something that is, like you have to do. For men, games, activity luar and all those is basically macam pergi memburu, hunting. It's equivalent to that. You can't go hunting these days. You don't have to go and hunt, and you want that teamwork kind of an activity to happen. There are a lot of activities out there. Men's circle, brotherhoods, your futsal gang ke mana-mana ke. Collect back all these people. Talk to them. Create a circle. And also
that mentality you mentioned, very important.
Yeah. So that when you go back into the team sports, the mentality, I know you have a family and all those. Yes, very important. Allocate time where you do this, and this will actually, based on what they said, tambah dengan benda ni all, will have a huge effect in your general well-being. And when you are generally well, you don't have to worry about erectile dysfunction.
Yeah, I think the last one, I just want to top it out. I think all the gentlemen here dah memang banyak dah mereka dah bincangkan. I think the last one is pastikan you boleh sukat. I mean, you kena measure. And how to measure is technically to do like proper screenings. You need to, bagi saya, invest untuk buat macam ujian darah ataupun pemeriksaan fizikal dengan doktor ke mana-mana lah. Not us also. At least you need the right information. Satu, the right kind of test you kena tahu apa nak buat untuk lihat apa tengah berlaku. Jangan macam yang ni murah lah RM50 beratur depan pharmacy you can get, but then lepas tu tak tahu apa tengah berlaku because tak ada kepakaran. Orang-orang yang mahir dalam segmen ni tak dapat bantuan lah. And then you keluar dengan perspektif, gula I okay,
kolesterol I okay,
darah I okay, I kencing okay, that means I'm super healthy. No, I think that is one big thing that kita kena faham, that kalau you nak servis kereta pun 1 tahun 2
kali 3 kali macam tu,
at least untuk badan you kena invest the same kind of thing to improve. Because kalau you want to perform macam kereta Formula 1, you kena tune up lah betul-betul. Janganlah sekat tune up macam tukar air filter je.
You nak tagap Bugatti tapi you service takat kereta yang rendah-rendah, tak nak brand lah. It's not going to work. You have to be top notch. And you know, if you don't know, zaman sekarang ni bukannya you kena buka buku dan belajar dan sebagainya. Dia banyak people like you mentioned just now, you know, Ben Greenfield, Huberman.
Tonton je episod ni cukup.
Tonton kita punya local episode kita, our page podcast, SS, Himat, and you know, like Skycling, all those. We have all this information being constantly given out there. So tune in, tengok benda-benda ni. Jangan tunggu sampai sakit. Jangan cari shortcut. Itu yang paling penting. Jangan cari shortcut. Oh ni untuk tambah, buat ni.
And another thing, tanpa saringan yang betul, doktor pun atau orang-orang kita tak dapat the right direction for the best treatment.
You need a guide for the best treatment.
Kalau tanpa macam tu, apa yang berlaku is disebabkan you nampak ada individu ke perempuan ke joget kat internet ke dan social media jual produk ni murah RM20. You try. Lepas tu try untuk setahun, and then masalah tu bertambah teruk. And these people bukan bagi advice ke apa. It's macam apa tau, seumpama macam you bagi sedekah RM20 untuk dia joget. And you mengharapkan mungkin ada erection and everything. So get real. Kita ni dah alam macam ni. We have all the technology. Kita ada banyak pakar-pakar dalam this bidang. Get advice. Pergi tanya ataupun baca, search online, cari information. And kalau tak tahu and you rasa okay, you have all of these symptoms, you need to rujuk kepada doktor-doktor perubatan. Silalah pergi and jumpa dia. Just jangan sembeli buy.
I think that's the most fruitful advice lah. So just because you feel healthy doesn't mean that you're actually healthy. And then the second thing is, kalau ada masalah, tak tahu nak jumpa siapa, tak tahu nak buat apa, at least jumpa dengan doktor yang paling hampir dengan you. So at least dia dapat nasihat ataupun petua ataupun panduan yang in the right direction lah. So either way you will come to something that will help you out lah. Instead of you tak nak bercakap, tak nak bagi tahu masalah you apa, then you just sit there, let the problem fester, become worse, and then you go. By that time maybe it might be too late. You don't know.
And it might even cost more to find if it's dah terlanjur dah. So saringan awal memang sangat-sangat efektif lah, nak katakan cost efektif, dan juga boleh dirawat dengan lebih tepat lagi.
Exactly.
Yep. What is that?
Anything? Okay, sekian saja untuk episod kali ini. Semoga episod ni banyak membawa manfaat kepada semua di luar sana, terutama sekali kaum lelaki. Tapi tunggu dulu, kita ada lagi satu episod yang akan datang. Stay tuned untuk next episode, ejakulasi pramatang. Ciao.